So it does go on Greg Elliott. And a lot of Panther fans in the building thought he might have drawn the charge.
Got to keep in mind, you got to be outside of that line. If you're even on that line, they're going to call a blocking foul every single time.
What do you think, Julius?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of leaned in a little bit.
Yes, it looked like he was outside the restricted area, but as you said, might have leaned just a bit too much. Simon goes 1 of 2 at the line. Panthers working quickly the other way. Jamarius Burton finds Nelly Cummings, kicks out Burton. Burton will reset. 3-ball, Elliott. Contact, no call on the shot. Greg Elliott wanted a call.
And Federico on the glass.
UT Martin head coach is Ryan Ritter in his second season. Skyhawks selected to finish 3rd in the OVC preseason poll. And when you have a tandem that consists of the OVC preseason player of the year, in addition to a guy like Parker Stewart, who of course played for Indiana last season, that makes for a really, really talented duo to lead this Skyhawk team, Julius.
Absolutely. All he need to do is, make sure his team is battle-tested and playing against the ACC team on the road for the opening game of the season. It's one of those things you have to do to make sure your team get better.
So the officials having a conversation about that previous play, and all of a sudden, Panthers are getting back on defense. So, Julius, we'll have to get an explanation here. And we're hearing a technical foul on Greg Elliott. Mentioned that he was not pleased that he did not receive a foul call on his 3-point attempt. And so Parker Stewart capitalizes on the tech. And suddenly, just like that, it's 2-2 after Stewart hits the technical foul free throw. Panthers not happy about it, but they keep playing. Back in action after the pause. 2-2. 17-20 left in this first half. Stewart, 3 from the corner. Too much. Weak side rebound, Burton. Burton drives, find it cutting Elliott down low. Elliott, pump fake, tries again. Tipped out, ends up in the hands of Desmond Williams. Simon, step back, offensive foul.
There's other ways to get yourself involved in the game. Shot not falling, get a solid possession of defense. Elliott the third did it there. Yeah, you got to get up into him. Sell it a little bit. Oh, yeah. When they give you that little nudge right there, you got to learn how to sell it.
It's part of the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You did it yourself.
Nah, not me. Not me. I never thought I would get those.
Cummings lost the handle, went out of bounds. UT Martin will take over. Of course, Nelly Cummings, another big addition for the Panthers, played last season at Colgate. A lot of fans might remember him from that first-round performance he had against Wisconsin. He had 20 points against the Badgers in the round of 64 of the NCAA tournament last season. Pull-up jumper, Jeffries, no. Rebound, Federico.
A wingspan. He just tapped that thing to himself.
Federico at 6'11", sophomore from Finland. Elliott, corner 3, short. Chased down by Williams. Up-tempo game so far in the Pitt. Stewart trying to shake Hinson. Ball fake, spinning in the lane. Tried to find Nix down low. It goes out of bounds. 4 minutes in. Hard-fought game, 2-2 at the Pitt. Grew up supporting the Pitt basketball program, achieved a childhood dream last season when he played on this floor in the Peterson Event Center, but he wasn't wearing the blue and gold. Sported the Colgate colors as they took on the Panthers right here inside the Peterson Event Center. Was a really special moment. Nelly's family in attendance, but this year, Nelly Cummings, Julius, he found his way to Pittsburgh.
It's great to have him back. He played at the powerhouse Lincoln Park. as you can see in that footage right there, Mom Dukes was loving it, so I'm sure she's loving it even more right now.
Nellie's father there in attendance here tonight in his first official game as a member of the Pitt Panthers, and just a really special and unique experience for a guy who grew up training in this building with the likes of Brandon Knight, Sam Young, and Jeff Capel's really glad to have him because he's a guy who knows the spirit of this program and how to get it back to what it was like when you were here, Julius.
Absolutely. You know, this guy, I mean, it's always good to play in front of your family, especially for your hometown. So I'm sure he's excited about that, and hopefully he can be a part of turning this program around now.
And right on cue, an alley-oop to Federicko Federicko. Cummings to Federicko connection.
So nice you had to name him twice.
Don't see that too often, huh, Julius? 10 on the clock for UTM. Jeffries, weak side corner triple. Off the mark. Rebound Hinson. Already 4 boards for Blake Hinson tonight.
I think the advantages for the Panthers is around the basket. They were settling for the threes early on. I think Coach Capel drew that up. Let's get to the basket, make something happen.
Foul called on Parker Stewart. How about this hoop, Julius?
Yeah, get in the paint, throw it up to your guy, let him make a play.
So that'll go down as Nellie Cummings' first assist in an official game as a Pitt Panther.
Got to give credit to Nellie, you know, being aggressive, getting all the way into the paint, making Federico, you know, guy drift over to him is what opened that up.
UT Martin left a wide open Jamarius Burton in the corner. There's Nellie. Long on his three-point attempt. Panthers to start tonight 0 of 6 from downtown.
This is the end that it comes down to, though.
Stewart, pull-up 3 in the eye of Hinson, off the mark. Rebound from Cummings. Burton spins. Williams comes up with the ball, finds Stewart. Stewart in transition, finishes.
Beautiful move with the Euro.
Parker Stewart played last season at Indiana. Of course, started his career here at Pitt. Back where it all started for the graduate student from Union City, Tennessee. Dump down low. Federico, the slam.
Keep feeding it in there for the Panthers. That's where you have your advantage. Work it inside out.
Jeffries working on Cummings. Cummings hit the deck. No foul called. Rebound Federico. We're calling his name a lot, Julius.
That's a good thing.
Burton called for a travel in the short corner. He's not happy with the ruling. So you want to see Pitt attack the basket. That's the key through the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, I think they shot the ball so well during the exhibition that they just thought they were the Golden State Warriors for a minute there. So, you know, when you have the size advantage, which you usually do when you're playing a smaller school, you want to feed it in there. Feed it in there to your big guys, take advantage of that, and then let the three-point line open up for you.
Both teams are combined 0 of 10 from three-point range to start this game. Mentioned Pitt 0 of 6. Tennessee Martin is 0 of 4. Parker Stewart with 5 quick points in this one. Cummings cross court. Sabandi. He fires up a 3. And foul on the rebound will go against Ryfin Miguel. That was Guillermo Diaz-Graham drawing the foul.
Miguel looked like he should have a helmet and shoulder pads on, if you ask me.
He sure does, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. That's a big boy right there.
Ryfin Miguel, all of 6'8". Senior from Angola. 240-pound forward, a senior for UT Martin. Diaz-Graham thought about the 3, kicks out. Nate Santos. Not that time.
It's a good play when you have a guy 6'11", 7 foot, able to put it on the ground and kick it out for a 3, though.
Stewart working in the paint. Turnaround, tip chance, foul called against the Skyhawks. What do you think, Julius? Would you back down him in the post?
No, I'm going to have to bring him out here on the wing, make him play my game, see what his footwork is looking like.
You could still jump over him.
Still? You said still. Is that insinuate I can do it right now? Not at all. I can't jump over a broom these days. Come on. I wish. At least not without feeling like sore, my entire body being sore the next day.
Just about 8 minutes in here. Opening night of the season for Pitt and Tennessee Martin. Nelly Cummings drew a foul on the floor, and that's going to go against Jordan Sears.
That was good, solid defense. He just, got a little too physical. But great intensity. Got a little carried away.
And Julius, that's now the 7th foul on UT Martin, so important for the Panthers. Just 8 minutes into this half, they're in the 1-1.
Got to knock him down. In the past, being in a 1-1 with 12 minutes left, I'm not sure if it would still benefit us. Hopefully, this squad is a little different.
Nelly Cummings, 82% free throw shooter last season. Nets both of them. Julius, to your point, hit second to last in the ACC in free throw percentage a season ago. But not the case for Nelly. Sinks both foul shots. Puts Pitt back up 2. Stewart with 5 points to his name already on the night. Nix driving on Guillermo. Hinson lunges up for the rebound.
I would love to see Nike Sabandi get the ball, get a little bunny, get his legs up under him.
Hinson steps back. Can he get the roll? Yes! First 3 of the ball game and first 3 of the season for Pitt goes to Blake Hinson. Pull up. Sabandi got a finger on it. Panthers moving quickly the other way. Santos. Burton will set the offense. Uses a screen from Guillermo. Dishes out to him for the 3. Off the mark. Hinson strives for the rebound. Blake Hinson with 6 boards already tonight. Sabandi cross in the step back rim. Another rebound Panthers. That time Guillermo. Taken away by Stewart.
They work it. I like it.
Stewart's been in the lane. Foul. He'll head to the line after we take a break. Just over 10.5 to go in the first half. Feels great to have basketball back here in Pittsburgh. For Parker Stewart, who started his collegiate career here at the University of Pittsburgh. Spent the 2017-18 season with the Panthers and set an all-time freshman record for 3-point field goals made. Spent that lone season with the University of Pittsburgh and spent time at UT Martin, going there the next season. Did not play because of transfer rules, but then the following year, 19.2 points a game. Finished his career at Indiana last year, played in the NCAA tournament for the Hoosiers. And, of course, Julius, his collegiate journey can be defined by resilience in the face of adversity. Heading into that season in 2020, his father, Anthony Stewart, suddenly passed away just before the season was about to begin. Parker took that year off, came back, played a great season at Indiana, and then decided coming into this year that UT Martin was where he wanted to be.
Yeah, he's one guy, the Panthers can't let get going, but I'm sure he's playing with a lot on his mind. He wants to have a good year, and, I wish him nothing but the best.
You see there the tweet from Parker in April when he announced his decision to come back to UT Martin for his final season in college as Hinson hits another three for the Panthers, but Parker Stewart, his father Anthony, the longtime head coach at UT Martin, of course having to overcome the challenge of Anthony's passing right before the season, but really an inspirational story by Parker Stewart to come back and said one of the biggest reasons for him coming back here to UT Martin was to help fulfill his dad's legacy.
Family ties. I think some of his siblings graduated from there as well. So, I think he's doing the right thing.
He's doing the right thing so far tonight. He's got 7 points, 7 of the 8 for Tennessee Martin. 10 minutes into this first half. Offensive foul drawn by Blake Hinson for Pitt.
Gotta love those plays. Turnover and a foul at the same time. Hinson is active. Get there, set his feet, take it like a man. He's out of control. Got to be under control and jump stop or shoot the little pull-up.
He doesn't look like he hasn't played in 2 years, Julius.
Hey, maybe that's why. He hasn't played. He's well-rested, fresh legs.
No rust from Blake Hinson, who spent the last 2 years at Iowa State but did not play since the 2019-2020 season at Ole Miss. He's blended right in here for Pitt with 8 points. Another three ball no good for UT Martin.
When you don't play for a while, you appreciate the game. You miss it. So when you get back, you have a lot of energy. You play with passion because you know what it feels like to not play at all.
Hinson trying for his third three of the game, that time back rim. Offensive board, Federico. Other corner for Elliott. Swirls in for three. Julius, Jeff Capel was proud of the way he improved their three-point shooting this offseason, and we're seeing the rewards right here tonight. The Panthers have now jumped out to a 10-point lead here at the Pitt. 9 minutes to go, first half. Panthers 18-8. Well, Panthers went out and got some shooters in the transfer portal. And now Pittsburgh on an 8-0 run. Got to use those three-point shooters when you got them. Here's Greg Elliott.
And it starts with Federico getting the rebound, kicking it out, moving the ball, being unselfish, kick it to the shooter in the corner.
It's got to feel good for Elliott, who had missed his first three from the field today. Gets one to drop there. Panthers up 10, finding their rhythm. An 8-0 run in the last minute and a half. Simon back in the game with 2 fouls, Julius.
Yeah, well, they got a 10-point, 12-point lead. They have to, get their guy back in there to get it going.
Ryan Ritter has 2 Skyhawks with a pair of fouls. Rife and Miguel, in addition to KJ Simon, each with 2. UTM needs their star on the court. Here's Cummings for 3. Rebound Curry. Curry transition, takes it himself, shoulders into Hinson, gets it to drop.
Way to finish through the contact. Be strong when you get down there.
Burton quickly the other direction, foul.
And that's when he's at his best. Putting the ball on the floor, attacking the basket. He's very crafty, got a nice handle.
So Jamarius Burton will head to the line. One of the best free throw shooters in the ACC last year. His 88% was second in the conference. He's a key returner for this Pitt team alongside John Hughley, again, who they hope to have back for Friday's game against West Virginia. But Pittsburgh, Julius, is one of 2 teams in the conference. I love this stat. 2 teams in the conference that have at least 2 guys coming back with at least 12 points a game. It's just them in North Carolina.
Yeah, when you put that guy, Hughley, and Burton in the pick and roll surrounded by Elliott and the likes of Hinson, it's going to be really difficult to defend this team because what are you going to do? You have to pick your poison. Do you help on Hughley, help on Burton, get to the basket? If you do, they have shooters now. But anytime you compare it to one of the blue bloods, it's a good thing.
Not so
That's
bad,
good news.
Right? There's the list. Returners in the ACC who scored 12 a game a season ago. 3 from the Tar Heels on there, 2 from the Panthers. Elliott, pump fake. He's called for a travel. So The Panthers turn it over, but they do have a 9-point lead. 7:52 to play in the first half in Pittsburgh.
Capel, he said Jorge was more of a wing out of the twins. Let me tell you something, Panther fans. When you have a 6'11" player that can defend the wing, push it, head up, and make the pass, your future is bright. Don't wait until next year and the year after to start buying your tickets. You need to buy them now, because this can happen with the blink of an eye. You have you have two guys 6'11" and above that have skill. You're going to be there in no time.
And Julius, we talk so much about the transfers, but let's keep in mind those two are freshman twins from Spain, both right around 7 feet tall, and that's a luxury for Jeff Capel and the Panthers.
I'm not going to jump the gun, but the last time I saw a guy from Spain at that age doing those things, his name was Pau Gasol. I saw it with my own eyes in high school.
I think Pitt fans would be more than happy if these two ended up anything like Pau or his brother. Seven-point lead for the Panthers. Parker Stewart working on Jorge Diaz-Graham. Offensive foul.
And there he is again, sliding his feet, contesting the shot, moving in front of him, drawing the foul. Come on. This is 6'11" we talking about here. This is 6'11" we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. And come on, he's from Europe. You know he's good at doing that. You know he's great at doing that.
Look at him laughing it off. He's happy. That's a versatile player right there, Julius.
Yes, sir.
So that gives Parker Stewart 2 fouls now. So he and Simon both with a pair as Greg Elliott nails the triple.
That's what he does.
How important is it for the Panthers to take advantage of this time with Stewart and Simon both with 2 fouls?
Have to capitalize. You have to wonder, they can overplay Stewart. They can't be as aggressive the way that Pitt is playing defense, taking charges. So, it's always in the back of your mind.
That was Rife and Miguel. Mid-range jumper, good.
It's a solid screen by Federico.
Finds him on the roll. And foul called. Federicko Federicko will head to the line. Panthers in the double bonus.
Screen and roll action. Cummings able to find the shooter. You have to pick your poison. Either you're going to help when the big rolling. When Federico is a presence, is going to open it up for Elliott and other shooters. If you want to take away the shooters, then Federico is going to be open rolling to the basket. So you pretty much have to pick your poison. It's tough to do when you have an inside-outside presence.
Federico's been very active so far tonight for Pitt. And Julius, have to remember that if John Hughley were healthy, he probably wouldn't have even found himself in the starting lineup. But he's been so key for Pitt so far.
Yeah, it's the gift and the curse. Some guys step up in the absence of some of your star players and is working out. And now that it just goes to show you how deep the front court for these Panthers are going to be.
Originally from Finland, spent last season at Northern Oklahoma. Again, filling in for John Hughley tonight. Expect Hughley to be back hopefully on Friday for the Panthers. And Federico making his minutes count. Simon dumped down low, blocked away. Panthers come up with it. Cummings pull up. Federico missed the jam. Place would have erupted if he hit that, Julius.
Absolutely. They were already ready to go.
Hey, I don't blame him. We're excited too.
That's a good block here. As you can see, look, he's all, man, his wingspan is crazy. Then he runs the floor very well. Catches the ball. It just got away from him. But everything else is great. Contest on one side, run the floor, receive it on a run.
And so all of a sudden, Pittsburgh with their second technical foul of the night, and that one is on Federico for hanging on the rim. So 2 tees tonight for Pitt. Parker Stewart missed the free throw that time, but ball going to go over to UT Martin, and Panther crowd in attendance not pleased with 2 technical fouls in this first half.
It's going to be a tough decision. Who do you sit down? Hinson, Federicko, both playing well. Obviously, Hughley is going to be in there, but it's going to be tough with both of them playing so well.
Jeffries pull up 3. No good. Skyhawks have still yet to nail a triple so far tonight. Jeffries takes a pull up, and he got it. Kobe Jeffries averaged just over 6 a game last season, was the only player on the team to start every game. Burton, cross court, open, Greg Elliott, 3-ball, no. Federico trying to tip the rebound to himself, but Parker Stewart ends up with it for the Skyhawks. He goes over to Sears. Sears drives into Federico. Rebound by the sophomore. Cummings, full speed ahead, Hinson for 2. And 1, count the basket for Blake Hinson.
Big guys is running the floor and getting rewarded. You got to reward your big man. Push the ball up the floor. When your big guys is running, you got to reward them. They'll keep running for you.
Blake Hinson, he shined in the exhibitions for Pitt, and he's been the leader tonight. 10 points on 4 of 7 shooting, along with 6 boards.
It's 12 between him and Federico.
You said it, Julius. 6 boards apiece for Hinson and Federico. They're also the 2 top scorers for Pitt so far tonight. 11 for Hinson, 7 for Federico. And there's the line. For the junior from the state of Florida, started his collegiate career at Ole Miss.
And he's playing with a lot of energy.
He sure is, isn't he?
It's contagious. He's talking. It's a good teammate.
Hasn't left the floor yet. Cuts inside. Working down low. Spins away. Finds Cummings. Cummings, a little step back. Got it.
Unselfish play there by Hinson. Also, a lot of big guys is going to force that up. So close to the basket. Let me go ahead and get this one up. You know, if he give it up, he'll get it back. So, you know, it makes him unselfish.
4 points, 5 dimes for Nelly Cummings. Nike Sabandi finds Hinson. He wants another 3-ball. Not that time. Rebound. Last off UT Martin. After the break, it'll be Pittsburgh ball. They lead by 12. Well, let's give a warm welcome back to Nike Sabandi, who takes the floor tonight for the first time since tearing his ACL in an exhibition game just over a year ago on this floor. It's a guy who shined at Miami of Ohio before transferring over to Pitt. And Julius, Jeff Capel said he was set for a really great season a year ago, and it was such a shame to see him go down, but he is back and eager for the opportunity this year.
Yeah, I had to do my homework and saw some YouTube videos and some footage of him, and I was really excited to get him. Unfortunately, he got injured. He just started really, practicing at full strength a few weeks ago. So it's going to take him, a little bit of time to mentally get back to the form that he was before the injury.
And he really, really finished that previous season off well in 2020 and 21, averaging over 15 points a game across the final 5 games of that season.
As a player that dealt with an injury that was, took a while for me to recover from, I know how mentally, that's the hardest part is mentally to get back doing the things that we were doing before that injury.
And Jeff Capel mentioned that as well, said Nike's an elite-level athlete, and when you go through an injury like that, there are bound to be moments when you question if you're going to become the player that you were before the injury. And for Nike Sabandi, he's just grateful for the opportunity to come back out here for this Pitt team in this season.
He'll be fine. Stay at it. Stay in the weight room. Stay in the gym a little bit at a time. We'll be back before you know it.
Bandy had 14 points in the exhibition on Wednesday last week. Josh Endicott shooting for UT Martin. Skyhawks have not scored in over 2 minutes.
High screen and roll has been working for the Panthers.
Bandy drives into traffic. Rebound Diaz-Graham. Foul called. And that'll go against the Skyhawks. Looks like it's on Jordan Sears. That'll be his second.
Strong move. Nice follow. You know, it was a time when we were always complaining, how come we can't get these trees, these 6'11", 7 feet guys, and now I feel like we got 3 of them. It felt like years ago we couldn't get 1 of them.
Did you ever play with Aaron Gray? Was he after you?
He was a freshman when I was a senior.
There you go. You had 1 of them.
That wasn't Aaron Gray. You know, he had Aaron Gray skill. We knew he was going to become Aaron Gray. But once he, came on, he was a totally different player by the time he finished his career. I'll tell you what, though. If these kids work as hard as Aaron Gray did, they'll be NBA players. For sure.
Got the body for it. Offensive foul again on UT Martin. Panthers enjoying a 6-0 run so far. Jamarius Burton drew this one.
It's tough. Not only do you get the contest on the block, but you got a guy taking the charge. It's good defense.
Bandy out to Hinson. He's got a hot hand. Not that time. Jamarius Burton goes up strong for the board. The guard with the rebound in the putback.
It's a big man move right there.
Burton at 6'4", climbing up. Down low, Endicott. And 1. Who said a guard can't get a rebound?
He got up there. Got to run and start. Is that an advantage? Now, the good thing about the Twins is because their ability to, their footwork and ability to slide, when they get in a pick and roll and have to hedge, they're so good at doing it because they're already used to defending on the wing.
Mandy kick to Burton. Jamarius for 3. Got it. Jamarius Burton with 6 points. 2 of 5 from the field. Panthers lead has climbed to 15. Stewart's triple, no. Offensive rebound, Curry. Kicks out. Jeffries comes up with it. Kicks outside. Desmond Williams. That one's good. First points of the day for Williams. Now Burton. Panthers operating quickly on the other end. Sabandi, he takes a 3. There's a Nike swoosh.
The answer. If UT Martin could have got a stop there, had a chance to get it under 10.
Oakland Zoo is loving this first half in Pittsburgh. Panthers up 15. Drive and a nice finish by Jeffries to quiet the crowd for now. Timeout taken by Jeff Capel. First half almost to a close. Pitt up by 13.
Where can you go for the latest must-haves? And every season's nice-to-haves? Where can you get that perfect gift for dad? And hot cocoa mustaches for the kids? Where can you lose track of time all while saving time at the same time? Lowe's, actually. It's the best place to get everything you need for the holidays.
Well, both teams struggled early from beyond the arc, but now finding their stroke from three-point range. Tennessee Martin had one from Desmond Williams, and the Panthers respond with Nike Sabandi.
Nice jab step. Get him to lean just a little bit. That's all Sabandi needed.
Doesn't feel like it, but the Panthers shooting just 24% from three-point range in this game, 5 of 21. So they've taken a lot of threes, but improved over the course of the last few minutes to stretch this lead to 13. 6-second difference between shot and game clock. Cummings drives, kicks, pass intercepted. Stewart with 7 ticks left. Keeps his eyes on the clock. Heads left, looking cross court, nobody there.
Somebody should be there, though. That's the thing. Automatically, you should know somebody is going to be there.
9/10 for Pitt. Sabandi fires one up. Almost had it. But the Pitt Panthers with an impressive first half showing here at the Pitt. The return of college basketball in Pittsburgh. Being led by Blake Hinson's 11 points, Federicko Federicko with 7, and the Panthers are up by 13.
Start going to the basket, getting some bunnies. They open up for the three, but they shouldn't rely on it anyway. You know, they have the height advantage. Keep attacking, keep getting to the basket. Burton can attack off the dribble. It's going to open up lanes for Federicko and Hinson to finish.
So important to note as well that the Skyhawks are in some foul trouble. Parker Stewart with 2, KJ Simon with 2. Ryfin Miguel and Jordan Sears each with 3 apiece. The Panthers got in the bonus just about 8 minutes into that first half. Elliott, step back 3, got it. Five Tennessee Martin Skyhawks with at least 2 fouls just after halftime. Some confusion as to who that went off last. Initially was ruled Pitt ball, but call overturned. Going to go to the Skyhawks.
UT Martin got to get Simon involved early. Got to get him involved early. He's their best player.
Down low, Nix slams it, makes it a 14-point margin. Cummings takes the 3 ball. Off the mark. KJ Simon transition. Offensive. Jamarius Burton draws it for Pitt.
It's tough B. He got there on time. He anticipated. That's great D right there. At the same time, if I'm Simon, I'm not really mad because he's trying to get it going. The last thing he want to do is jack up jump shots. He's trying to be aggressive and get to the basket.
Look at the strength from Blake Hinson. Powers his way through the paint for the 2. He's got 13.
If I'm UT, I'm just going to go down with the ship. I got to leave KJ out on the floor.
Williams 3 ball off front rim. Jamarius Burton, transition game. Over to Cummings. Cummings triple. Got it and 1. Nelly Cummings from downtown.
Let's be clear. Cummings, Hinson, Elliott, and Federico are all new players, and they play like they've been playing 4 years together already.
The experience of the Pitt Panther roster on full display. 19-point lead for the blue and gold.
Okay, kids, so here's the thing. The first thing you want to do is secure the rebound. Solid defense, secure the rebound, get it to your guard, push the ball up the floor, and the best time to shoot the three is in transition. So if your coach is telling you that's a bad shot, he's wrong. Ask Rick Pitino, ask all the coaches that made a living because of that three-point line right there.
Cummings completes the impressive 4-point play. He's got 8 points.
Splash.
Panther lead has ballooned to 20 points. The opening night of the season. Foul called Blake Hinson. For Julius, Panthers certainly enjoying this season opener more than their last two. Of course, last year went down to the Citadel. Previous year lost to St. Francis on this floor, and very different story here this season.
We retooled. We got a bunch of guys that's experienced, that love to play the game, and obviously they love to play together. How they support each other and share the basketball, talk to each other. You would have thought that this crew right here been together for 3-4 years already.
Williams tipped away by Elliott. UT Martin came up with it. KJ Simon scooped it up and got the two. Burton quickly penetrates. Other way. Kicks out. Elliott for three. Oh, yeah! Third triple of the game for Greg Elliott. Backdoor cut by Simon. Tipped out of play by the Panthers.
Elliott created that entire play. Set a screen for Burton. Burton got in. He spaced the floor. Wide open for three. Coach Capel said, you know, this kid knows what he's doing. He knows what he does well. He knows what he doesn't do well. And he sticks to what he doesn't do too much. What more can you ask for a player?
Yeah, he said the simplicity is the beauty in Greg Elliott's game, and here he is now. Burton, down low, Hinson, acrobatic attempt. Skyhawks transition. Stewart down low, Simon finishes through contact.
You know, the other thing he brought about Elliott is his energy and his attitude. He's a positive kid. He said it rubs off on everybody. You know, you put him and Hinson in a room together, I don't see how you cannot play with a lot of confidence.
Burton takes the three. Off back rim and over.
Got to get you a bunny. Those are the ones. Get the lid off the basket.
KJ Simon has had a quiet night, but he scores 4 quick ones for the Skyhawks over the last couple possessions. And a foul here is going to go on Chris Nix in the backcourt. KJ Simon, OVC preseason player of the year, averaged 16.9 points a game a season ago, trying to will his Skyhawks to a second-half comeback against Jeff Capel's Panthers, who have looked mighty impressive on night one.
One stop at a time. If you're going to give yourself a chance, you got to do it on the defensive end. Can't trade baskets.
For three, no.
Now between Stewart and Simon, going to have to get it going.
Stewart's pull-up is good. Parker Stewart, his return to the Peterson Events Center. He's got 9 points. Cross court, Hinson, one more over to Burton. Burton goes baseline. Kicks outside, Nelly for three. Back rim, no good. Rebound, Williams. Nelly tried to poke it away, and he gets a foul called. And that'll take us to a break. 17-point lead for Pittsburgh. 15:27 to go in this one from the beat. And Jason Capel here for the Pitt Panthers. Look at the synchronous nature there of these two, Julius, making the same exact motion.
Yeah, come on.
They look like brothers.
You think? The only brothers they missed is you and me, Jason. They forgot Jason and Julius. Come on. Where our throwback picture at?
We got to dig that one up.
He's a lefty. Good strong move. Finished through the contact. If you're UT Martin, you want to cut it to 10 by the 10-minute mark.
Hinson, the putback. He's got 15. Is that the goal, Julius?
Cut it to 10 by the 10-minute mark. But you're not going to do it giving up offensive rebounds around the basket like that.
Backdoor cut. Simon blocked at the rim by Hinson. Going to be called a jump ball. And that'll stay with the Skyhawks on this end. You can start to see KJ Simon getting more involved here in this second half, Julius.
Yes, sir. They're going to need him. Leading scorer, everything. He had a tough first half, but, you know, trials and tribulations. You got to learn how to get over them.
Desmond Williams, triple connects. Hinson and Stewart with a little bit extra. Stewart shoving, both teams going at it. Officials have to step in the way. Ugly scene at midcourt. And hopefully that's the end of it.
It's getting a little chippy. Shows the fight from UT Martin.
Julius, to me, just looked like a couple guys that got tangled up.
Well, you know, Hinson got a block. Jump ball. He gave him a little Matumbo finger. You know, we're not with the taunting out here. So, you know, they're down there battling. Tangled up. You got to keep your cool, but it's a lot of trickery going on in there. They know how to lock arms and hold you in there. So believe it or not, you know, this is both of them.
Yeah, you see him running back up the floor. Hinson trying to look as innocent as he can, but maybe locking down that arm of Parker Stewart. And, of course, Stewart was not happy about that. And so officials now taking some time to review all involved in that incident, stemming from Blake Hinson and Parker Stewart.
It's all in competition. You love to see your guys getting after it, especially if you're down on a roll. You got to play with a chip, so, you know, you can't just let these guys try to punk you off. So, you know, what are you going to do?
And maybe a little bit of frustration setting in from UT Martin, trailing by 14. However, they have started to put together a little run here in the second half, so you'd hate to see Parker Stewart affected by that altercation at midcourt. Skyhawks have made 4 of their last 5 field goals, starting to get on a little bit of an offensive roll. But can they keep clear of their emotions, getting the best of them here in the second half?
I know Elliott got a tech in the first half. I believe the Panthers had 2. Do you remember? Was it Hinson that got the other one?
Yeah, Greg Elliott.
Elliott got 1. If it was Hinson, he better be careful. Whomever, you know, you can't have a pile up, get the referees throwing technical fouls around, because if it's one of those guys who already had one, they're going to be disqualified.
See, Cummings got involved at midcourt with Stewart.
Well, it's rules to the scuffles. You know, you never hold your own players back. Certain things you just don't do when we start getting into it like that.
And Julius, to answer your question, it was Federico Federico for hanging on the rim that got that other tech in the first half for Pitt. So for Hinson, of course, don't want to add another tech, but he hasn't gotten one so far tonight. Parker Stewart on the night with 2 fouls. Personal. Blake Hinson with 1 personal so far in this one.
The easy thing to do is to give them both a technical foul. I don't think it was really clear on who instigated what. I think both players were just playing hard and got carried away. Sure.
Officials tonight, Tony Henderson, Trace Downs, Claire Aubrey taking a look. And we'll have one more look ourselves. So you see Nelly bumping Stewart late. Stewart retaliates. Blake Hinson, meanwhile, he's going over to the Oakland Zoo.
Well, the push on Cummings wasn't necessary. So that's one thing. So I think you have to give Stewart a technical for just pushing Cummings. I don't think he can throw Hinson to the ground that easily. So I'm going to say that was more of an acting job on Hinson.
Yeah, oddly enough, Hinson doesn't really ever show retaliation. It's Cummings that comes in and continues the scuffle at midcourt. So would think if there are two players that are charged in this, it would be most likely Parker Stewart and Nelly Cummings, but Julius, we'll just have to wait and see.
I think it's the best you can do is a double tech. In the heat of the battle, competition, I don't really see anything that malicious to eject the player. I mean, I don't understand. But this is why I don't have the striped shirt on.
Yeah, lucky that's not our job, huh?
Because I would have just let it all go.
We continue to await the ruling here, Julius.
I don't think it was the tangle between Hinson and Stewart. I think it was more of Cummings walking past Stewart and him pushing him and how to handle that situation. That would still just be a technical foul. That would still be one in my book. I wouldn't give him a tech for the situation with him and Hinson. That's guys just getting tangled. It happens all the time.
And the Pitt Panthers just want to keep this game going. They've got all the momentum in the second half. They've got a 14-point lead. They want to resume play. And at long last, now the officials meeting with UT Martin head coach Ryan Ritter.
On both teams, number 2 for the Panthers, Blake Hinson, and number 45 for Martin Parker.
So you see Blake Hinson, he was just announced in the venue here as having picked up a flagrant foul on the play. Stewart was called for a flagrant as well. And so Parker Stewart is actually going to be ejected from this basketball game. As we still begin to sort out what happened here on this midcourt scuffle. Parker Stewart is not happy, but that's going to end his night and then his trip back to Pittsburgh. And so we've got an official coming over to give us a word. All right, so thanks to our official for coming over and explaining. Parker Stewart picked up 2 flagrant ones on the play. He has been ejected from the game, and for Pitt, Nelly Cummings and Blake Hinson getting called for flagrant ones themselves. So that's how it all sorts out, Julius. 2 flagrant ones on separate Panthers, but Parker Stewart picks up 2 flagrant 1 fouls on his own and gets ejected from this game. And after all of that, we resume play in the second half here at the Peterson Event Center. Lots of emotion on this opening night of college basketball. Nelly Cummings finds Federico on the roll.
Good for Pitt to come back and pick up where they left off. Sad for Stewart. I know he was playing with a lot of emotion coming back to a place he played in. Unfortunately, he got ejected.
Important for Pittsburgh to try and pick up right where they left off before the stoppage. 16-point lead. Hinson and Cummings, who are both involved, have stayed on the floor. Cummings, corner, Blake Hinson, bottom.
He has a lot of confidence in that shot. They have a lot of confidence in him.
18-point night in his debut game in a Pitt uniform. Reif and Miguel throw an elbow into Hinson, who draw the offensive foul.
I have a feeling that Hinson knew that was coming, that he knew that he was going to try to back him down.
What makes you say that?
You know, between him being a big guy and then the tensions, you know, getting high in the middle of the court, you know, UT Martin isn't going back down. I just had a feeling that he was going to do that. And that was great awareness on Hinson's part to be ready for it and to take the charge.
Blake Hinson has been doing it all tonight for Pitt. 18 points, 7 of 14 shooting, 10 boards. He's got a double-double, and he draws a big foul there. Sabandi swings it over to Hinson, who's been doing it all and more for the Panthers. Have yourself a night, Blake Hinson.
Pick and pop. Swing the ball. Back closeout. Hits him on the arm. Do not want to foul jump shooters. And then that's the pose right there. Is that the pose that we do after an 1-3 now?
You think he's excited to be back out on the floor? 2 years, didn't play in a game. And what a welcome back for him.
I'm sure he appreciated every minute of it. As he should.
Was Knicks backing down Guillermo. Panthers well defended. Foul called on the Skyhawks. Jalen Myers. Ball goes back to Pitt.
Diaz Graham got saved by the bell right there. He left his feet a little early. Gave him a bunny. Unfortunately, pushing it back. Hinson picking up where he left off during exhibition. That was the question. Can he do it, you know, when it's the real game? Exhibition is one thing, but are you going to do it when the real lights come on?
Well, I'd say he's answering those questions.
Yes, he is. Double-double.
Blake Hinson had 29 in the exhibition last Wednesday. Follows that up with an excellent performance here tonight, propelling the Panthers to a 24-point lead. But there's an and one for UTM. KJ Simon.
Yeah, Simon's going to return to Allen Iverson now. With Stewart gone, in order to give him any chance, he's going to turn into a different kind of beast.
Foul called on Cummings on the rebound. Ellie Cummings not happy with that call. And it looks like actually a lane violation. No foul on Cummings, but he entered early. So Simon gets another try. Maybe a case of ball don't lie there, Julius.
Yeah. They battling down there, though. I love it.
So Pitt in the bonus early again in this second half. Remember back in the first, it was right around this mark, 12 minutes on the clock where Pitt got in the bonus. Same story here in the second half. So Guillermo Diaz-Graham, or Blake Hinson rather, going to step up and take a 1-and-1. Front end is good for Blake Hinson.
I'll tell you what, Jason. I wonder what's going on in John Hughley's head watching this guy Hinson at the line right now. Can you imagine what it's going to look like with both of them on the floor at the same time?
That's two big bodies.
Yes, sir. That's going to be something to deal with because Hinson is a true stretch four.
And he can shoot it too. It's been Blake Hinson's night here in Pittsburgh. Panthers are on a 12-2 run over the last 2 minutes. 24 points for Hinson, the junior. There's a rejection. Panthers capitalize the other way. Jamarius Burton kicks out. Can Hinson hit another one? Not that time. Rebound Santos. Burton penetrates, has it swiped away. Simon trying to shake Burton. Spins into the lane, kicks out Jeffries. Under 20 to shoot for the Skyhawks. Baseline drive, found a hole. Guillermo there for the board. Burton now with Sibandi. Drive. Has it taken away. Simon transition for the Skyhawks. Euro step. Can't finish. Tipped around for the rebound. Ends up with Santos. Up-tempo basketball. Burton slows it down.
Smart move. No need for you to rush it with the lead.
Burton wiggles his way into the lane, kicks out to Hinson. Ball fake, drive, kicks to Burton. Burton's pull-up, short. Gets his own rebound. On the floor for it. Skyhawks come up with it with Myers. Santos intercepts the pass. Fighting for it at midcourt. Tipped up to Burton. Jamarius takes the easy two.
They're swarming to the ball. They still playing with energy like this is a close game. And you got to like it if you're Jeff Capel.
Hinson with the strip. Blake Hinson. Blake Hinson. What a debut for the junior Panther. 25 points in a pose. 16-2 run for the Pitt Panthers, led by Blake Hinson and his 25 points on the night, 12 rebounds. Julius, a superb effort in his first game as a Pitt Panther.
And he's getting it done in every way. Going to the basket, shooting a three at the free throw line, playing defense, getting the fans into it. What more can you ask from a young man?
He is quickly becoming a fan favorite in Oakland. As we reach the midway point in the second half. 28-point advantage for the Pitt Panthers.
28-point lead, and Coach Capel still over there coaching hard. A lot of game left, but this is a long season.
Jeffries pull up off the mark, fighting for the rebound down low. Guillermo Diaz-Graham.
I'm just hoping to see the lineup with the twins and Federicko Federicko, just to see how that thing meshes together. The towers all on the floor all at the same time. Nice pull-up.
Sabandi grabs it for Pitt. Trying to cross up, Myers does. Takes a step back. Off front rim. Jeffrey scoops it up for the Skyhawks. Finds a running Simon. Foul called. Should go on Sabandi.
And the foul goes on 22, Nike Sabandi. That's his third. Team 7.
Third foul of the night on Sabandi.
KJ Simon to the line. Shooting 2.
Simon still battling.
KJ Simon with 9 points tonight. Again, picked as the OVC preseason player of the year. Had at least 8 points in every game a season ago for the Skyhawks. Previously played for Bethune-Cookman. Came over with head coach Ryan Ritter. Makes the second of 2. Guillermo and Jorge on the floor at the same time here. Here's Sabandi. Working on Williams. Now kicked out to Nike Sabandi for 3. Connection. Now a 19-3 run for Pitt over the last 5 minutes. This experienced Panther roster playing some hoops in the Pitt tonight.
Mouse in the house. He's calling for it down there. He's working. I got the advantage. They hear you. They see you.
And that's the 7-footer Guillermo. He was being guarded by the 6'1" Desmond Williams. Julius, you called it. He wanted that ball.
Yeah, Williams was doing a good job using the lower center of gravity to keep him off the block, but he only could do it for so long.
Sabandi, the 3 on the previous play. Panther bench loving it. And you said it, Julius. John Hughley's got to be excited to get out there on the floor with this team.
Yeah, they got a great rotation. Hinson, Hughley, Federico. The Twins can play some down there. That's a 5-man rotation.
And important to mention, too, the Panthers without Will Jeffress tonight. And when we talked to Jeff Capel, he said so much conversation about not having John Hughley. But to him, Will Jeffress has been really important as well. Said he's improved a lot in the offseason prior to suffering a foot injury. And when they get him back, that's going to be another key piece to have.
He's very athletic. I think defensively and rebounding is his really good skill set. I think it's going to relieve some pressure off him. In the previous years, a lot of people was putting pressure on him to score the basketball. I think on this team right here, he won't have to focus on that. He can just do what he does well.
Santos from 3-point range off the mark. Bounces out of play. Just under 8 minutes to go in this season opening game. When we come back, we'll tell you a little bit more about the Diaz-Graham twins. Debut game for Guillermo Diaz-Graham and his twin brother Jorge. Guillermo on the left, Jorge on the right. They are one of 10 sets of twins in Division I college basketball. There's your list of twins throughout the nation that you might see throughout this college basketball season. And for Jorge and Guillermo, both played at IMG Academy, originally from Canary Islands, Spain. And Julius, we were talking earlier about the luxury it is to have a pair of 7-foot twins on your roster.
Yeah, especially ones that skill, can put the ball on the floor, shoot the basketball, defend. That's a blessing.
Tonight have made an impact in a variety of ways. Guillermo's got 7 rebounds on the night in just 9 minutes of play. Skyhawks are one of their last 9 from the field. Make that 10. Rebounds Sabandi. We're at the 7-minute mark in the second half. Sabandi squares up for a triple. Short. Short corner, Hinson barrels through the defense, goes up strong, but an offensive foul called. Looked like Endicott took the hit on that one.
These gentlemen are only freshmen. So this is a lot to be excited about if you're a Panther fan. They're only going to get a lot better, a lot stronger, a lot smarter.
As you mentioned earlier, you teamed them up with Federicko Federicko, who's at 6'11". A lot of height on this Panther roster. Foul that time called on Blake Hinson. Got a hand in front of the attack from the Skyhawks. And KJ Simon, 6'3", senior guard from Orlando, with 10 points tonight. That's a team high.
Tried to take flight right there.
It's been a rough night from the free throw line for Simon, who's now 2 of 6. Nelly Cummings, hometown hero. Dreamed of playing in a Pitt uniform. Doing that for the first time in an official game tonight. He's the Panther point guard. Drives, finds Hinson, cross court. Blake Hinson for 3. Rims out. And a fight beneath the basket. Last touched by UT Martin. There's Nelly Cummings' father. He's a happy man tonight.
Absolutely. Dream come true. Son playing at home. Had a wonderful career before he got here. Finish it out in a Panther uniform.
Nelly Cummings, of course, attended Lincoln Park, 38 miles from the Peterson Event Center. Elliott, alley-oop attempt to Santos. He's fouled. Foul going to be called on Ryfin Miguel, and so Miguel is going to foul out of the game. Nelly Cummings headed over to his coaching staff, having a word with Jason Capel. Nelly Cummings started his career in college at Bowling Green, played in 30 games before heading over to Colgate, where he led that group to 2 NCAA tournaments in the last 3 years. Julius, of course, mentioned earlier that he starred in their tournament game against Wisconsin a season ago, really made his presence felt on a national scale. And Jeff Capel wasted no time in finding Nelly in the transfer portal and bringing him back to his hometown here at the University of Pittsburgh.
He had the alerts next to his name. So as soon as he entered, he got a notification. So he knew right away.
First team All-Patriot last season, averaging nearly 15 points a game. Now tonight with the Panthers, 8 points and 7 assists for Cummings. And most importantly, a 29-point lead. Here's a drive. Into contact goes Jordan Sears, and a strong finish.
Very strong. He got up there.
Cummings left open for a triple. Rims out. Santos flew in for the rebound, but KJ Simon comes up with it. Simon hits the deck, and he's called for a travel.
He's trying to make something happen. Frustrated, trying to force the issue. Foul trouble, just hasn't been going his way today.
And he lost his teammate Parker Stewart, who was ejected from this game earlier in the second half. And Julius, you noted earlier, different story when you've got Simon out on the floor without the second best player on the team.
Yes, the workload is just something that's unbearable. It's impossible even. You're already down. Stewart is a guy that can stretch the floor for you. Now everybody's keyed in on him.
Burton to Federicko.
That pick and roll action.
Federico's been running that pick and roll all night. $11 points, 7 boards for Federicko Federicko. Simon swatted away by Federico. Elliott comes up with it for Pitt. Transition basketball. Santos, short corner, bounce pass. Federico, the jam! .31 lead, the largest of the night for Pitt.
No signs of letting up either. Oh, well, I guess we got some subs at the scoreboard ready to come in, but I highly doubt that they're going to take any pressure off.
Burton out to Greg Elliott. Thought about the three. 9 ticks on the shot clock for Burton and the Panthers. Crossover, step back, drew the foul. He'll head to the line. It's been all Pittsburgh at the Pitt tonight. 31-point lead, some alley-oops, some defense, and a lot of fun for this Pitt Panther group. 3.5 minutes to go from the Pitt. Panthers are cruising. Welcome back here to the Peterson Event Center as we take a look at the top 5 scorers of the night for the Pitt Panthers, led by Blake Hinson's 27 points in his University of Pittsburgh debut. And what stands out to me, Julius, the top 4 scorers for Pitt tonight, all new to the roster.
How many times will you see that happen at a university? Ever?
Times are changing.
Unless everybody's a freshman. That's newcomer, but how many veteran players come right in and have this kind of chemistry?
That's true.
I mean, this is just abnormal.
You said it earlier, though. Jeff Capel went out and did his work in the transfer portal.
Well, that was the big question. Is this, on paper they had talent, they had experience, but how is this team going to gel? Right away, I guess the experience is the answer. Give me experienced players, and they'll figure it out.
Jeff Capel told us he has 9 scholarship guys that are healthy and can play. And keep in mind that does not include John Hughley and Will Jeffress, who they hope to have back in the near future. They're hoping Hughley is back Friday against West Virginia, but this is the most experienced roster that Jeff Capel has had in his 5th season. Only 17 players in the conference have 75 or more starts. Pitt's got 3 of them on their roster in Jamarius Burton, Nelly Cummings, and Nike Sabandi.
And we didn't talk about William Jeffers enough. Imagine when he gets healthy, he come back, it's just going to add more depth at the backcourt position.
It's all about experience in college basketball. The Panthers have a lot of depth in that area this season. Guillermo finds his brother Jorge for 3. Off the mark, Sabande fighting for the rebound. Nike Sabandi comes up with it, kicks out. Santos, no good. Nike Sabandi still fighting for the basketball, comes up with it again. Marshall, the runner. Finally, no. Panthers with another offensive board, courtesy of Nike. Foul called, and it will be Skyhawk basketball, but Nike Sabandi all over the floor for the Panthers.
You got to love his energy right now. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the game, up big. Nike Sabandi, one of the older guys, still on the glass, working on the glass, working the glass, working the glass, kicking it out, working the glass, doing all of the dirty work, getting on the floor. What more can you ask? This is how you set the tone for your basketball team.
Yeah, he looks like a guy who missed last season and is excited to be back out there. Panthers now get the chance to empty the bench. Nike gets to take a seat for his hard work. Julius for Pitt. You really couldn't imagine a better way to go into Friday against West Virginia.
Not at all. Spirits are going to be high. Fans are going to be excited. The last thing you want to do is have a letdown going into that game. So hopefully everybody show up and show out.
Aiden Fish into the game. Another local kid from Murraysville, PA. Went to Franklin Regional High School. Former team manager. Found his way onto the roster. He's enjoying these minutes. There's a block by Jorge.
No soup for the U.
Oh, wanted another one.
Another one. Where Khaled at when you need him?
Julius, you know, it's just the first game of the season, but it's tough to remember the last time there was this much life in this building.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. You know, a lot of unfortunate things happening on and off the court, but, you know, you got to leave those things in the past and just build on what you have now. And the Panther fans, you know, you got a bright future.
Panther bench having some fun. Oakland Zoo enjoying it. Pittsburgh on their way to a 1-0 start for the first time since the 2019-2020 season. Jordan Sears connects on the triple. Panthers still pushing.
He's strong. Sears, I think, need to be more aggressive. You know, coming into this game, wasn't talking a lot about him, but just looking at his style, he can knock down the three, he can get to the basket, he's very strong. I feel if he, you know, gets more aggressive as the season go on, he's going to do his team, you know, a lot of justice.
Sears on the night with 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting. 81% shooter from the line in his career. Misses the front end of 2.
Oh, well.
Santos 3 off the mark.
I thought the big fella was calling for an on-ball screen. I was, wait a second. Uh-oh.
Well, we saw him dribbling it earlier. He showed he can do it.
But if he was going to show us he could run a pick and roll, it better be sold out for the rest of the season.
That's a whole new dynamic.
Let me tell you something. If that young fella was calling for a pick and roll and ran a pick and roll, I was about to say Kevin Durant right now. Y'all was going to be mad at me.
Well, these fans are excited enough, Julius. Let's step on the brakes for a moment. Tough to not get excited, though, if you're a Pitt fan.
For sure. UT Martin going to have to keep it together. They got Youngstown State coming up Wednesday. Short break. Got to prepare. Put this one behind you. Don't have time to hang your head. Got to have a short-term memory.
There's the twin connection on display. Nearly resulted in a 2 for Jorge. Short-term memory, the key for the Skyhawks. Panthers, meanwhile, will be doing whatever they can to carry this performance into Friday as Jorge Diaz-Graham adds another block to his night. And Jorge gave it a little finger wag. He's going to get called for a technical. So the Panthers with a 24-point lead, a successful night. But now another technical call.
Look at him slide his feet, stay in front. It's going to be tough. The ability to stick with the guy. He's going to take away the floater, the pull-up. Good luck.
So I think that's the look of a guy who's been teed up in a 24-point game with 10 seconds left.
You know, I think that's by default. Anytime you raise your finger at the player.
You think so?
Taunting, yeah. I think they even did away with that in the NBA.
80-58. Going to be the final score here from Pittsburgh as the Panthers are 1-0, Julius.
Solid performance. Hinson came in, played very good game. But even for them, short-term memory because you got the Mountaineers coming in on Friday.
So for Julius Page, our tremendous ACC Network crew, producer Sarah Maculin, director Kevin Wheeler, I'm Jason.